All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to this channel. Today I'm trading with my friend Yesh, and he's new to day trading. We'll be walking through some examples of my trades together, focusing on reversals and small caps under VWAP. As we go, Yesh will ask his questions, and I'll explain my process so it's clear for both him and anyone else just getting started. So yeah, let's just jump into it.
All right,
Um,
let's do this.
let's get it. Um, so yeah, the main content today is gonna go over these sessions I had today. And the first stock we're looking at is KC. This is more of like a small cap getting into more mid cap. It's a larger small cap, really. So here we have the 5 minute chart on Kingsoft. Here we see the opening candle pulls back. We get the first reversal candle right here. Now you don't want to buy the top of the reversal candle because at that point you're risking from your buy to the low of day, which is 2.82%. And so I usually look for the a weakness um, below VWAP or a heavy pullback. So anywhere under VWAP after this breakout of this new reversal, I'd like to buy. So we can see here it pulls back once and then twice all the way to 617. And from there, that's less than a 1% risk. What I'd like to do from there after buying is usually I like to sell into VWAP into the
So
high. Yep.
you're trying
But
to put the risk as low as possible. Is that right?
yeah, you want to risk low of day initially, and if it cracks below low of day, you just get stopped out and you go on off to another one with the same reversal pattern. Um, yeah, and then you're just pretty much looking to sell into the strength and resistance levels, which I was going to mention are the previous high of day. So after this reversal pattern and the pullback, you're risking from 617 to 611 and hoping the first sell into 640. Um, so if we check that out real fast, that's about a 1 to 3.5 ratio, which is pretty good. But I usually don't stop there. I kind of am aiming for a 5 to 1 uh, for the most part. So yeah, we sell our first position into the high of day, which was previously 640. And then from there, we go after pre-market highs, which is around 650. But we get a little more than that in this push and the breakout. Now with all this strength in buying volume, I tend to think the crowd on that candle got overcrowded. So I'm gonna expect a pullback. Um, it held pretty strongly and it just kind of ripped from there. And we can see our next resistance level is all the way in the 713s. Um, and from there it hit 713 to end the day. This resistance level was a previous weekly high. If we go to the weekly time frame, um, all the way in July and November and July. So of last year, not this year. Um, so yeah, it hit some significant levels and hitting that July high of day. So high of the week rather. So yeah, that's just the first example of the run through. And any questions for that one?
No, it sounds clear and good.
Yeah, so you get the reversal, um,
Okay.
and then you get the pullback, and then you're trying to, you definitely don't want one to one. You want to sell into the volume weighted average price line, and then take a little off the table as it goes. Because if it reverses on you and fades, and makes a new low of day, at least you took some profit and are net positive on the day. Um, I'll try a more explosive small cap, so I'll try to start on the lower end. Um, so let's see. All right. Trying to see if there was any patterns early on. They're mainly just breakouts. Um, okay, another popular stock we had today was SKK out of the pre-market scan. It had a lot of activity in the pre-market. You can see it has a massive spike from the 185s to the 250s. You see it rip all the way in the beginning. Um, we're trying to risk the low of day and get a reversal. So after about the first 15 minutes of the market, we see this big pullback below VWAP, which is why we're trying to buy a more discounted price on this stock. VWAP just kind of reflects like the average price, weighted average price by the volume for a given period. It just kind of assesses um, the stock to be at a discount, really. It shows institutional behavior, like the algorithmic traders use VWAP as a benchmark generally to buy, but where people are looking to buy, I'm looking to sell. Um, yeah, so that's the most demand there is to get the best bang for your buck, really. So once it cracks below VWAP, I generally like to look for a stock at the open to fall about 10%. Um, and I like to mark the highs and lows after the first 15 minutes. So yeah, we have the first 15 minutes. The low of day was really on this first open area of this candle. It pulled back and then sh shot straight up. So this makes a new low of day, and then we get that reversal pattern under the low of day. Um, from there, I'm trying to risk as little as possible if that's an option. If it's not there, um, just go on to the next one. But you can see at this candle and in these areas right here, we're able to risk low of day, which is about 3 to almost 4%. From there, you're risking that almost 4%, and you want to sell into the market open price and the previous low of day. So from buying roughly at this price right here, the open, which is about the area of the pre-market high, and VWAP, um, you're just trying to take a little off the top as you can. Now you see this candle level hold pretty well as where you buy right here on the reversal. It holds up like 3 or 4 times right here and then goes back up. So you could re-enter here and then sell into VWAP. Overall, though, um, there's so much resistance here at 4%, 7%, and into VWAP for about 10 to 12%. Um, you don't want to get too greedy. Yeah, so with that, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question about the volume. Like, how do you decide what is the best spot to like buy and how do you decide like what is the best spot to buy and sell?
Yeah, so like I was mentioning, so VWAP, which is the volume weighted average price, um, is just kind of determining the weighted volume for a given period. We can see that the volume's pretty massive in this
Hmm.
area above here, making the price also um, quite difficult, to buy a dip at. Anytime you see a price over VWAP, you're just kind of overpaying. Um, so yeah, you want to see the volume really just decrease, pull back and all that pretty significantly. We can see that from the open. The volume takes a huge dip, but the price doesn't.
Right.
And then the volume starts to fade in this area, which is a nice area where it makes a higher low from here to here. So we see really low volume and it making a higher low. So any chance you can get around this price or lower, risking low of day would be your best bet. Um,
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
a good spot to get in. And also it's near to the low of day, so low risk.
yeah, and like I said, you want to take the profits early, sell into the VWAP if you can, because sometimes it just misses it by like cents. Um, but yeah, you want to sell into these key levels, and whenever you see like the volume kind of spike through VWAP like this, it's usually a reversal. You want to see like weaker volume, kind of like these volumes break through VWAP because the stock isn't as overcrowded. Um, yeah, so from there, the stock just kind of faded off later on after testing VWAP multiple times. Um, yeah, let's just review another one.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay, so here we have WCT. This is like a really volatile stock in the pre-market this morning. The first thing I like to do is again mark the pre-market highs and the pre-market lows. Here we have the pre-market low of 120 and a pre-market high of 260. Um, so yeah, pretty much 100% range there. Um, this is what I really like to see out of the gate. The stock just take a huge crash. Um, at least 10% is what I like to see. So you can see at the open at 220, it falls almost 30% out the gate in the first 30 minutes, really. By the time this candle opens at 10 a.m., we get our first reversal signal. And from there, we can just mark our low of day. This is really important just because you can see not only did the stock, crash below VWAP, which is a great indication of a discount price. You could see the volume also faded off a little bit too, and it weakens, but as the price is rising, the volume is staying weak, which is typically a sign for me to that any type of volume after that for the buyers can just launch the stock into previous highs or at least the open. Um, so
So
yeah, with
that's a
that,
good spot to get in.
yeah, this is a great spot to get in really because it's more of a usually you would look at stocks that are fading as a like a bearish trend. I look at it as like temporary like weakness. So if you're able to like anticipate a reversal or a bounce based on like these technical patterns or other indicators like volume, buying under VWAP, again, like you tend to capture gains as the price reverts back to VWAP. So yeah, with that, it kind of shows a better risk management system. And yeah, so I think VWAP just serves as like a natural resistance. Um, so yeah, anytime the price is below VWAP, traders can like just set a tighter like stop loss as we do low of day after this reversal signal here. Um, yeah, and you're hoping it gets back to VWAP because it's so extended off of it at the moment. So yeah, you're looking to buy at any price below the close of the first reversal and get as close to low of day as possible. So at the moment, if you were to buy this first reversal to low of day, it's about a 5% risk. Um, Personally, I'm hoping it gets back to the open of the day, which is about a 30% gain. So I look at this as like a 6 to 1, a no-brainer to start getting into. But again, I never buy the close of the first reversal signal. If I do, it's probably going to be like a starter position, a small size. Um, but yeah, I think looking to get into this increase in selling pressure just shows that the volume's picking back up again after we got our reversal, which is a great sign. Because it means the sellers are fighting and hopefully we can get them to get squeezed out. Um, from there, this level is able to hold the low of day a few times here, two, three times. And as you can see, if you're able to now get into first take your buy positions in this price, if not at the very bottom low of day, you'll have like an easy way to profit from there. Um, and as you can see, it reverts back to VWAP, which if you're able to get in from the low of day or roughly near low of day, risking almost 1%, and you're able to make almost 29%, that is the safest trade in the game. Um, and yeah, I like to make sure when it touches VWAP to get out. And like I said before, this exaggerated volume into VWAP is more of a fake out uh, break out of VWAP. So it took all day, but it is the easiest, most risk-free trade you can have. With that, do you have any questions?
So th when it touches the purple line, that's the best spot to get out.
If you can get out at the purple line the best you can. I know it only tapped it for like a split second, but yeah, I would say market order, sell there. It's gonna be tough sometimes if you have like a. There's been plenty of times where I have like a limit order sell set,
Hmm.
and it never gets filled. But you can see how close this was to reaching the open of the day. It missed it by like just 2 cents. So to say that
Right.
really was going to get filled there, who's to say? But I mean, incredible move, took all day. But yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think when you get the first reversal, um, yeah, it's a sign that it's going to go in the right direction potentially. Um, and you love to see the next red candle have heavy pressure of selling, just because now you have a group fighting after it, buyers and sellers, and you can see for a brief moment it tries to fake some people out here. A lot of people panic and will sell as they don't see the reversal immediately go in their favor. Um, and that's just another way for me to get in at an even cheaper price. So thank you.
At
So
the minimum risk.
yep. So you're in at about 160, risking less than 1%. If you can get in lower, I doubt it, but good luck. But all power to you. And yes, selling into maybe the first 15-minute lows, for instance, at about 178. As you can see, this candle does increase in volume. And then you see this candle weaken in volume. So with that, I would think a pullback was coming. And because just how I like to see the weakness on the breakout, on the reversal bounce, I say the same thing about the downside as we see a decrease in selling and the price decreasing so much on the volume as well. So we get a small pullback and then it never really looks back until it hits VWAP. And yeah, just a sweet trade overall. Um, yeah, that was a nice one. All right, QBTS. This one was riding all day. Pretty much any stock with a Q in it today was riding. Um, so this was a pretty amazing run. Wish I was a part of it. You have this great dip out the gate. I think from the open, it fell 11%. That's exactly what you want to see. Um, you get the first reversal signal under VWAP. So it's happening quick. Not a lot of time to really think about it in the first 15 minutes. Like I said, the first thing you want to do is if you are going to risk or get that first starter position at this first reversal sign, that's going to end up being like a 7% risk. So the ratio, that means the price really has to push for you to really make any solid ratio on that one. But with that, no matter what you do, you always want to sell into the break into the VWAP and into the um, previous open, especially on a dip and high of days. And then if it can test and hold well above the high of day, it should have no problem rising the rest of the day. But for me, I want to sell into the pre-market highs as well. So there's like a few key spots to sell here before letting your final position just ride it out. Um, so essentially, you're taking your small starter position, selling into this strength of volume into the previous levels of the market open, which is right here, and the previous market high of the 15 minutes, which is right here. And then you can see it pulls back strong. Um, that increase in volume, you can see the sellers are just slightly lower than the buyers. So that kind of concerned me for a moment. But then you have, and again, you have the increase in buyers come over the sellers, which again concerned me briefly. And then you have this weakness. Oh, sorry, there was more strength coming in. So from here, it's pretty overextended, breaking out of the pre-market highs. So this might be your last chance to get out, in my eyes. From there, I made another high of day. Oh, that's crazy. Um, uh, what do you want to do? Hold on. Let me stop. Okay, this is the final stock example we're going to go over, which is QBTS. This had basically every stock in the market today that had a Q in it, was rising pretty crazy today. So we have a few reversal signals here over VWAP, just under VWAP, but I like to see the stock from the open crash about 10% once the market opens on these small caps. So we have the stock open on generally a weak volume on VWAP, which might be a good sign. And then we have the stock fall about 11, 12% out the gate in the first 10 minutes. Then we get the first reversal sign. So we're looking to buy at any point at that moment under the low of these two candles, which is about $2. It holds three times, and then we see um, that's about a 1% risk. And from there, we want to go ahead and try to sell into VWAP. And so once you sell into VWAP, you try to sell into the previous open of, you want to sell into the open of day. And then from there, you want to sell into pre-market highs. So there's a few opportunities to do so. Um, that's where you want to initially take profits. I recommend at most by the time the stock reaches, and this is to not get greedy, you should have sold about 40% of your overall position by the time you get to this high. And if you're comfortable enough, and you want to be a little greedy, you can leave the other 50 or 60% of your position in and see what it does. And if it cracks back below, um, previous resistance, on strong volume, you could probably get out. But yeah, just sell into the strength. So this has a lot of strength compared to the previous candle after this little tiny reversal happens as it's breaking over the initial open of the day. So that's a great point to get out. VWAP and yeah, from there, there's not a lot you can do. The stock does make a crazy move. You could look at different time frames of different spots to get in, but again, none of these spots are under VWAP, so that's not really getting the best discount on this stock. So yeah, psychologically, like this indicator, many traders use it to and trade VWAP very closely. And so yeah, like I said, when the price is below VWAP, it might trigger a perception of like being undervalued. So it attracts buyers and increase the chances of the upward movement. Um, so yeah, like I said, I mean, as long as you get in under VWAP after it drops almost 10%, um, there should really be no problem just letting it ride out after that. But selling into those initial, um, VWAP and the open of the day after that gap crap reversal, um, just kind of adds that extra padding in case the stock reverses and fails on you. You still made like um, what is that? 9%. So even if it came all the way back, you still probably end up a few percent net positive on the day. But yeah, leaving that extra 30, 40, 50%, whatever it is, on the table, um, is just more icing on the cake, really. Yeah, any questions with that one?
No, it's the selling as it reaches the VWAP and the previous highs and the market open point, that really makes sense.
Yeah, like for me personally, I generally don't like to trade the first like 5 to 10 minutes of the market. Um, you can see we have like an amazing reversal signal right at the 10-minute mark. You have a reversal signal happening over VWAP. That's not for me. Then right after that, naturally, once you know uh, the newbies try to buy the breakout over VWAP right in the beginning of the market, thinking it's going to go to pre-market highs and to the moon, they get humbled real quick, and that's when we come in after this big downtrend of a 10, 12% decrease, and we get that first reversal. Um, that's just roughly 1%. So that's an amazing gain. And like I said, you're risking almost 1% to make 10. And there's no need to make
It's
really,
10 to 1.
yeah, there's no reason to get greedy. 10 to 1, 10% a day adds up really quick. And if you have like a small account trying to get over like that PDT rule, um, not being greedy is the first way to go. And buying stocks at a discounted price is also the best way to go. But yeah,
Also,
overall, yeah,
waiting for like 15 to 20 minutes at, when the market opens is a good way because you can observe and understand how the market is behaving.
definitely like the first 5 to 15. Yeah, for sure. Unless the stock has already quickly bounced all the way 10% before that first 15 minutes, then you
Yeah.
kind of have a case for like the quicker the drop, the bigger the bounce, which dropped pretty quick. And then I don't know what to say about this. It went up 63% since bottoming out at $2, making its way to 329. So yeah, pretty crazy move. That's just like the potential these small caps have. Although this had a bigger market cap, it was still low float. Um, so yeah, great review overall today, and I look forward to dissecting in the next video. Um, any questions before we wrap up for the day?
No, it's pretty clear, Rob. Thanks.
All right, you got it. Yeah, so hopefully we can or you can apply these strategies to your next trades and make sure you get the best bang for your buck on the next trade you take. And yeah, just singles add up, and you want to cut your losers quickly if they do fail. Um, and that's just going to be the best and quickest way to grow your small accounts. So yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in and listening to the video today. Hope you learned a lot. I know these are just a few things that I've learned along the road of how to grow my small accounts over time. And yeah, I guess I'll just see you guys in the next video. All right. Cheers.
Thank you.